There we go. Right, so I've just got this one to talk to you about today. It's the Ball hydrocarbon, the original. So you can sort of see straight away that they've kind of give it a bit more of a classic sort of vintage look. But this is it. So it's quite a nice chunky watch. You're looking at like 14.5 mil on the depth. And you're looking at 42 for the actual case size, although when you include the crown guard, it really is about 44 to be honest. So anyway, let's start with that. Let's start with the crown guard. So this is a great little piece of kit. So its first and foremost function is basically to stop you from knocking the crown, because obviously it's a dive watch, you're going to be in there doing physical activities. So it stops you from knocking the crown. It's their own patented design. But also the other little thing I sort of noticed with it is that obviously you cannot put that back in unless you screw the crown down properly, which I don't know, I know a lot of people that get their watches wet on the inside without screwing the crown down properly, so that's a really good little feature for them. Obviously it's got unidirectional bezel as well, so you can only go the one way on it. And what's really nice about the bezel on this one is it's actually made out of sapphire glass. It's not ceramic or just an insert like you normally see, so you've got a sapphire glass bezel, gives it this really nice sort of depth finish to it and a little bit of a rounding to it as well. That's something that I really like. You know, if anyone was a fan of the Blank Pan 50 fathoms, then you'll know exactly what I mean. Okay, so it's a day date complication as well. Always nice to have. Tell you the day of the week. Can't go wrong with that. And then the next bit to talk about really is if everyone can see the luminosity on these, and if you know anything about ball watches in the past, what they've always used is something called tritium gas tubes. So these sort of kick out light at about 100 times more than Super Luminova. They've got a minimum 25 years on their lifetime as well, and they don't need recharging from the sun or anything like that. They're just always luminous. Now, the great thing with these, so normally they're in cylindrical tubes, but on this one, what they've done is they've made sheets of tritium and cut holes out in the dial and in the sapphire bezel and house it all underneath. So it's kind of difficult to see on the video, but you get a really nice layer to the dial, which just gives it some real good depth. So when you're looking at it, your eyes are sort of drawn to all the right places. I mean, what I'll try and do is I'll try and quickly just show you how good the Luminova is on this. So if I just kind of put that in the dark a little bit, and then I turn this special torch, and there you go, you look at that. Look how bright that is. Now believe me, when that's next to your bedside table, it is bright. It's like having a torch next to your bed. So you might want to turn it over if you can't sleep with the light on. Okay, so that's the Luminova. So that's sort of a few bits on the outside, and I'll just quickly run you through the bracelet. Bracelet clasp especially has been really well engineered. So it's a double fold over like that, but it's also got a dive extension on both sides as well. So sometimes if you've got a slightly slimmer wetsuit, you might only want one open. If you've got a thicker one, then you might want two open like that. So you do have the choice to either have just half an extension or a full extension open. And then obviously it's just a really nice, you can just hear it when I click it in. Nice solid bracelet that's been really well put together. Bracelet's all held with screws as well, and it's a double screw attachment to the case. It's been perfectly engineered to do what you want it to. Now just in terms of the inside of the watch as well, what you've got, so you've got a chronometer movement that is a ball caliber. So for those that don't know, chronometer is the sort of top level certification you can have on a movement, -4 to +6 seconds a day as an absolute maximum tolerance, which is pretty perfect really. You're not going to miss the bus or anything like that. But then they've put another couple of bits of patented technology inside it, and these are called the spring lock, the spring seal, and the amortizer. So these are all basically attachments to the movement. The spring lock is an anti-shock hairspring system, so if you knock it, you're not going to damage the hairspring. It's also not going to shorten or lengthen it. And then you couple this up with something called the spring seal as well. Spring seal is very similar, but it's a regulator anti-shock. So they basically designed a new style of regulator and have placed that over the top, and it locks it in place from its original factory settings. And then the amortizer, which is really cool, but when you see one in the flesh, it's actually just a great big ring of red resin that they then house around the movement. But what it can do is it can withstand up to 7,500 Gs of shock through the movement. So it just basically takes it out and runs it through that, so you don't need to worry about knackering the watch up. So look, all in all, I'll show you on my wrist just so you can get an idea. I've not got a big wrist at all, as you can probably tell from the video, but it doesn't look over the top. It's a really nice, lovely looking watch. Okay, so that's it. anyone's got any questions or want to say anything, just drop me a comment. Right, have a good day.